Back by popular demand.
Video Game Brothers,
Welcome back.
Brother Phil, Brother Andy.
Yep.
So it's garage sale season somewhere, but not here. So,
No, I see other guys doing it, and they are continually finding great stuff. And that's
congratulations
awesome.
if you live in Phoenix or something.
Hey,
but
yeah.
up here in the Northwest, it's been raining for
It's
about
over.
24 hours straight right now. Actually, I think it just stopped.
It just stopped. So in this video, we're going to talk about the single greatest finds of all time. I have 5, and he has 5. And we're going to go back and forth, and we're going to base this on what we paid for the game and what its value is on price charting. And we have some pretty amazing scores to talk about.
And this goes back, for me, it goes back about 6 years, because that's when I started doing this.
For me, it goes back 2 years. So let's begin. What's your first game?
My first game was one of the first garage sales I ever went to, ever, as an adult. I just started doing this. I didn't know to ask, how to bargain. I didn't know anything.
You just had to get lucky.
I had to get lucky. If the stuff wasn't sitting out, I didn't get it. It was like 10:30 a.m. and I stumbled out of bed and I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new at this.
Waiting for luck.
But I found, it was a yard sale, Valkyrie Profile and Ogre Battle, and my memory is correct, there was a Gran Turismo there as well for PS1, and they're all $10 each. And obviously I left the Gran Turismo for $10, and I handed the guy a $20 bill and I left with those 2 games. If I had to do over again, I would have said, where's the rest of your games? What else do you got? I didn't know what I was doing. I was so excited to find those games that I just...
So Valkyrie Profile, I mean, on price charting complete in box, that's about a $115 game right now.
Yeah.
It may have been a little less a couple years ago, but still, it's a really valuable game.
I was so stoked. I mean, for a long time, for probably the next 4 years, that was the most valuable game that I had ever found.
Number 5 for me is Super Mario World in the box. And by the way, most of my items, I think I still have the physical copies here with me. We do this at my house. I think you've either sold off a lot of yours, but you still have photos. So.
Yeah, I took photos of everything.
Super Mario World in the box was a garage sale that I get to in the morning, and I ask about video games, and the moment I asked, I could see a bin full of games. And not only was there 1 bin, but there were 2 bins full of games. I got several other box games, but this was the best one. Super Mario World 1 in the box.
Dude.
I ended up giving them $40 for 2 bins full of games and systems. I got a Super Nintendo, I got a Wii, I got a bunch of other stuff, handheld systems. I was so stoked to find this in the box.
That's a pretty rare find in the box. The loose cart is one of the most common games on the planet because it came with every system.
Right.
But
Yeah,
the
I
retail box was not sold very much.
And $40 for 2 bins full. So what does that come out to? $1 or $2 for this game. Outstanding deal.
Nice.
I'm really, really happy to find that.
Yeah. So this was summer of 2017. My wife and I were just kind of driving, and we hit one random sale, and they had some Wii games sitting out, and I started looking through, and there was a Pokemon. This was sitting out. I didn't have to ask for anything. Pokemon Leaf Green, brand new. You can still see it has the wrap around it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this thing has never been opened. And I was a little annoyed at the people running it because I asked how much, and the guy was like, I don't know, ask him. And I asked his son, and his son was just like, I don't know, whatever. Finally, some other guy comes out, and I had this stack of games, as you can see. And I said, how much? And he goes, how about $7 a game or something like that. I don't know where he pulled that out. And I said, how about I give you $10 for everything? And he goes, sure. So I don't know how this went from $7 a game to I hand the guy a $10 bill for all this stuff. My wife was with me, and she got kind of upset at me for, like, lowballing. Well, not upset.
Whatever.
She was like, I can't believe you lowballed them like that. And I'm like, I don't know.
That's a great
They
story.
annoyed me, and I figured they were going to take it anyway, so whatever.
I mean, that comes out to maybe $2 paid for Pokemon Leaf Green.
Yeah.
And what is that worth sealed?
I knew $200. There you go.
Yeah. My next game isn't a game, but it's a system. PSP 3000 model. You tell me if this looks brand new out of the box.
It looks brand new.
Literally brand new condition. There isn't a single blemish on this thing. Came with 2 memory cards, which I actually just discovered. Came inside this case, which kept it in amazing condition. And this was sitting out. And I just sort of asked about video games, and he just pointed over to one of the tables and said, I have that. And in my mind, I'm preparing an offer. I'm thinking I'm going to offer him $20. I mean, that's the magic number.
That's fair.
And he threw out $5. So I paid
That's more fair.
$5 for this. I couldn't be happier about it. It was a major upgrade from my last one. So $5, amazing find.
Yeah. So number 3 on my list was part of a huge bundle. As you can see in the picture, I kind of zoomed in and cut everything else out. We did a video on all that stuff, so I don't want to go over it. But in that bundle was Arkanoid on NES in the original box with that original joypad or joystick thing that it came with. And I believe that's the only way to actually play that game is to have that joystick. And that's the only way to get it was with the box like that. And as a loose cart, I think Arkanoid is like a $20 game. It's nothing to write home about. But and all the other boxes the guy had thrown away over the years. You can see I picked up a pile of NES and Super NES games. He didn't have the boxes to any of that stuff, but he kept the Arkanoid box because it had that joystick in it, and he wanted to keep it all together. I paid $150 for everything in the find, and that game alone was worth about $150.
There's a TurboGrafx 16 game sitting there.
So that's another story. I found that in the bottom of the bin after I got home. There was one lonely, I think it was Dungeon Explorer or something like that on PC or TurboGrafx, and I got home and I'm just like, this guy had TurboGrafx game.
You should have just gone right back to his house.
Trust me, I thought about it, but it was so far away, and I didn't even remember exactly where it was. It was part of this big community sale, and I was like, I can't believe I.
So what's Arkanoid worth in the box then?
$146.
Complete in box. Holy crap, dude.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So the next game on my list is going to be Earthbound. 2 of them. Don't ask me why I still have both of these. I found them both.
2's better than 1
this year. There's videos on both of these.
Yeah, go back and watch those.
I effectively paid $5 for one and $6 for the other. They both came in huge bundles of games, but
yeah, if you work it out, you do the math.
You work it out, you do the math. I never thought I would find Earthbound in a garage sale, and I'm currently holding 2 of them.
Earthbound.
One of them is spoken for, I will say that. So I've already got someone lined up to buy it. I'm going to keep the other one, but yeah, $5 and $6 each for Earthbound.
Dude, you can't beat that, man.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, at some point, people are going to stop believing me on some of these finds that I actually found them at a garage sale, but I did. You can check my eBay records. I don't buy this crap on eBay. So, anyways,
I'm going to check.
Go ahead and check.
So the picture I have here is of the 2 rarest games that were in this bundle. It was a community sale. I got there first thing in the morning, and I started asking about games, and the wife comes out, and she brings out 2 grocery bags of Super Nintendo games. And there were over 30 games, I believe, altogether. And I briefly just kind of scrounged through, and I saw some, Donkey Kong Countries, and I saw The Adventures of Batman and Robin, and I got so excited because I knew that was a valuable game. And her husband comes out, I negotiate with him. He didn't really know what they were worth, so I offered him a $20 bill, and I walked away with both bags of games. And I didn't realize until I got home, because, it's a community sale. You want to keep going. You don't want to stop.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning. You just got to keep going and before everybody else gets there. So I didn't even know until I got home, and I started pulling these games out of the bag, and I saw Metal Warriors on Super Nintendo, which is about, $2.50.
Yeah, it's a $250 game. $270 maybe. Yeah.
And so I was so excited. The whole day I was so excited about Batman and Robin. I was like, I can't believe I found this game.
What did you effectively pay for Metal Warriors, do you figure? 50 cents? $1?
I think I worked it out to about 65 cents
65
per
cents
game.
For Metal Warriors.
Yeah. So,
that's insane. Number 2 on my list is Pocky and Rocky 2. And this was, again, we did a video on this, giant bundle of games I found. This is one where he sent me a couple of photos that weren't very good. And this is one of the games in the photo that I couldn't identify. I kept staring at it because it was, again, kind of fuzzy and from a distance. And I kept staring at it. What is that game? And it wasn't until I ended up buying the games and laying them out that I realized what it was. And it's in unbelievable condition. I mean, it just looks brand new. I effectively paid about $6 for this. One of those Earthbounds was also in this find. So Pocky and Rocky 2, it's a very Japanese game. But it's a lot of fun. There's nothing like this that I've ever played. I don't know if you've ever played Pocky and Rocky, but
I have not.
It's a pretty bizarre game. Again, paid about $6 for it. The current market value of this is $250, something like that. So
Can't beat that.
Number 2 on my list, Pocky and
Nice.
Rocky 2.
Number 1 on my list, this was 2 summers ago, I believe. It was a community sale, and one of the problems that I've always had with community sales is there are a lot of houses that hardly have anything out.
Yep.
And so you get a bunch of really tiny sales, but once you realize that it's not really about what they have sitting out, it's about you asking them what else they have and they go bring it out. And my wife was like, he looks like a gamer. And I looked at the guy there and I thought, yeah, you're right. I'm going to pull over real quick. She stayed in the car. I get out. I go up to the sale. And again, nothing on the table I'm interested in. I start asking about games. I rattle off everything. And he didn't say anything for a while. So I just kept going. I usually start with old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation. I just keep going. And if they don't stop me, I just go all the way through the alphabet of games. And finally I said Game Boy or DS or something like that. And he piped up. He's like, oh yeah. And his wife or girlfriend or whatever, she's like, yeah, you got a DS something or other. He goes, yeah, I'll be right back. So he goes in, he comes out with a DS, a handful of DS games, and Shantae on Game Boy Color. And I didn't even know what to say. I just said, how much you want for this stuff? And he goes, everything here is $1 each. So $1 for the DS, $1 for every DS game, and he had a couple of decent ones, and $1 for Shantae. So I handed the guy about, I don't know, $7 or whatever it was, and I got in the car, and I handed the game to my wife, and I said, look this up on eBay real quick, because I just wanted to see the expression on her face. It's a fun game. I actually downloaded it on 3DS Virtual Console because I wanted to play it. And fun game. I mean, it's legitimately, it's very fun. It's kind of sort of Aladdin, like the Arabian Nights kind of theme, platformer.
My number 1 game, find of all time. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you already know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Aero Fighters on Super Nintendo. I still have it. I intended to sell it because it's worth so much. I just haven't found a buyer yet, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. So Aero Fighters is a game that I effectively paid $5 for. I also found one of those Earthbounds in this find. It was incredible. It was just, it was a sale that I was at for probably a half hour. I just kept asking them for more games, and every time I would ask, they would bring out a couple more, and a couple more, and a couple more, and I just stood there all day. It felt like waiting for the big payoff, and finally he brought out probably 25 Super Nintendo games, and Aero Fighters was one of them. So
you just got to keep asking. I don't know what it is with these people.
At one point, they said, "Can you come back later?" And I just stood there. I'm like, "How about I just stay here?" How about
when they say that?
Yeah, I'm not interested in coming back later. And yeah, Aero Fighters. I mean, I didn't even see this game until I got home. To be honest, there were so many games there, and when I got home, it's like winning the lottery or something. You just
it's a Super Nintendo lottery.
The whole time I'm just like Earthbound. I texted all my friends. I'm like, look what I found. I found Earthbound. And because I'm still driving to other garage sales. I'm not. I didn't go.
That's the thing. Yeah. I've done that too. You're too busy to go through everything.
Yeah.
Wait till you get home to look at it.
And I think this is probably worth in the neighborhood of $600 to $700. A couple of these that have hit eBay recently that have replacement labels on them, and they've gone for north of $500. Took this to Pink Gorilla here in Seattle, and I asked him to make me an offer on it. And so he took it apart, verified the authenticity, did a bunch of research on it, and he told me that he would give me $215 in cash for this game. Which I'm not interested in selling this game for $200. So I still have it. I wanted to sell it to Pink Gorilla, but I'm not going to give it to them for $215. I'm sorry. I mean, I would have been prepared to let it go for like $400 or $500.
They're a business. They got to make profit.
I get it.
But what would they sell that in their store? $800?
Here's the thing. If you're going to go in there with a copy of A Link to the Past, and let's pretend they sell that game for $40, I understand that they have to give you $20 for that game in order to make a profit. Sure. Most stores do this, okay, right? I get that model. But when you get up into the higher priced games, if there's something like that they're going to ask $700 for, it just doesn't make a lot of sense that they have to offer you
The same percentage.
half or less than half of what they would sell it for. Don't tell me that they're going to only ask $430 for this.
No way.
No.
Twice that much.
Yeah.
And they'll get it.
Yeah, they'll put it on their shelf for $800 and they will
It'll
get
be gone the same day.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they couldn't offer me $500. They're still making $300 in that scenario.
Not only that, but a store like Pink Grill, and I'm not ripping on Pink
I
Grill.
like the
They're
store.
a great
Yeah,
store,
I really
great
do.
people working there. But it seems like there would be some value in getting a game like this in their store. You get to take a picture of it, you put it on your Facebook page,
Instagram,
it brings
Twitter,
people in.
Yep.
It's a high ticket item. It brings a lot of people into your store just to kind of see it or interested in it or whatever. It seems like that has some value
Yeah.
too. But I mean, I don't know. They're doing something right because they're a successful business, and I like them too.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about them. But the 215 offer is a little baffling. to me.
280 store credit or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm not interested. So as a result, I'm just keeping it. I don't know. If someone wants to walk up to my door and offer me $600 in cash, sure, I'll sell it.
Sure,
Yeah, I played it for a bit. It's fun.
I'll give you 220.
Nah, pass. If you've ever played 1943 on the NES, it's exactly like 1943. I mean, it's just a graphical upgrade of 1943.
I believe it was a late release, like 1995 or
Yeah.
96 or something like that. So that's our top 5.
There we go. What else do you want to see a top 5 list of? Let us know in the comments.
Top 5 shovelware. No. Top 5.
Okay, that's it for today. Wait a minute. Wait, you know what we forgot to do?
What?
We forgot to throw a game away.
We
What is
forgot
this?
about the shovelware. Nailed it.
Boom.